while ago, I spoke with Hilton, and we started on this very topic. Steve Hilton, thanks for being with us tonight. We appreciate it, sir. So how big is this problem out there in California? Because obviously all around the country right now, students are going back, parents are trying to fill up the backpacks. How big is the issue in California that you're trying to solve for?
Well, it's driving people crazy. I hear it pretty much every single one of the hundreds of town halls we've been doing since I launched my campaign last April. And parents are just saying we've had enough, right? We already pay the highest taxes in the country. We're being gouged on absolutely everything, the highest gas prices, electric bills that are more than double the national average, rent, housing costs, everything is so expensive, the highest grocery prices. And then on top of that, when the school year starts, pretty much every parent in California, they're sent these lists of things that you got to buy. It's not forced, it's not compulsory, it's suggested, but it's suggested that you're a bad parent if you don't pay up for basic things, books, pens, pencils, paper, wipes, just ridiculous essentials for education that you'd think when we pay the highest taxes in the country and we pay $28,000 per student per year for the public school system, that actually those taxes would cover those costs.
$198 on average back to school spending. About 80% of parents say they are asked to provide extra classroom supplies, just for a little bit of context. Let's go. Of course, Steve, this all hits to the bigger issue of affordability and prices, right? And I'm sure you hear that all over the state. Right now, only 6% of Americans say that the economy is essentially getting better for them. 71% say it's getting worse. And there's an ad that you put out that caught my attention out there in California. Here it was, and we'll pick it up.
I get it. Maybe you hate Trump, MAGA, whatever. But life here has become impossible for anyone who isn't already rich. We are going to fix that.
Given the numbers I just showed, how difficult is it in this backdrop as a Republican right now that's running in a blue state?
Well, the truth is that all the things that make life so expensive in California, way more expensive than the rest of the country, these are all policies that we control here in our state, policies that have been pushed forward by the Democrats who've run California for the last 16 years. One-party rule. So if you look at gas prices, for example, there's around $6 in California. You just cross the border into Arizona or Nevada, the prices are going to start with a 3. And it's the same international situation, the same federal policies. The difference, California regulations and taxes. I will bring them down so we can get to $3 gas right here in California. And it's the same with all of these different things. Yes, of course, it's true that across the country, people are struggling with the cost of things, but it's way worse in California because of the policies we've got that I will reverse to make our state, as I put it, Cal-affordable.
How do you square with President Trump calling it the greatest economy in our history? Is it?
Well, not in California, because the people who've been running this state have given us costs that are just through the roof. I mean, our housing costs are the highest in the country, more than double the median house price. Rents are ridiculous. The taxes we pay are the highest anywhere. The results are the worst. These are all things that we can change here. That's my plan, to bring people's costs down, especially the energy costs that drive everything else. If you combine gas prices and electric bills, that's a huge component of the cost for every business, small business owners, large businesses. That's why our grocery prices are so much higher than the rest of America. We need to change direction here in California if we want to bring costs down.
Let me go through a few industries across your state out there in California. One of them is cattle ranchers. California has the 4th most number of cattle anywhere that you'll find of the 50 states. And the president made a policy announcement, 300,000 metric tons of beef that are going to be brought in at a 25% discount. The California Cattlemen's Association called this, they said that we should not be asked to shoulder the burden of addressing broader concerns about food prices. Ranchers operate in a competitive marketplace and have endured years of difficult economic conditions. Should the president reverse that, Steve?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that policy at all. I've been with our ranchers across the state, and they are really struggling. Again, the struggle in California is because of California policies. The regulations that they have to comply with way more onerous than other states, in fact, where the industry is moving to. And so we don't need to make it even harder. And so my plan, however, is to focus on the things that I would control as governor here in California, and that is to reduce the regulations and the costs that are making it late, especially in agriculture. I mean, broader than just ranchers. I mean, I'm in the Central Valley and our other great ag areas the whole time. The fact that Democrats are taking away water from our farmers, the cost of labor regulations that are way in excess of what normal people would consider reasonable. These are the things that we need to change here in California.
I see the backdrop there, San Francisco, and obviously there's no area in the country you could say that is more pro-tech than Silicon Valley. And there is a huge debate, no matter where you are, California, anywhere east or in between, about data centers. Here's the president, and here's Governor Greg Abbott of Texas on their positions, and then we'll pick it up.
You have the communities that really want the data centers. And frankly, those are the smart communities, because it means tremendous numbers of jobs, very little actual disruption.
And so they basically dug their own grave for the problem that's been caused for them, and that's why they got the backlash they deserve.
Who do you think has this one right?
Well, the problem in relation to this issue here in California is that the investment and the construction, all these jobs are going to other states like Texas, like Ohio, like Tennessee or Florida. And that's the issue. We are leaders in technology in one sense. It comes from California. We're the world leaders in AI and all these things. But most of the jobs from the tech companies are going to other states. That's my concern, to make sure that we get the high-end manufacturing, all the things, what I call the full stack of AI jobs and tech jobs, instead of what you're seeing right now, which is those blue-collar manufacturing jobs, all of them going to other states, driven out by Democrat policies here in California.
Are you surprised on the reversal, though, from some of Republicans on this?
No, because I understand that. I mean, I hear it the whole time as well. But my point is that we don't have that investment happening nearly as much as it should be in California. But of course, it's true that with any facility like this, they've got to be, as I put it, givers, not takers. You've got to take very seriously people's concerns about noise and water and electric. But the reason that our electric bills in California are more than double the national average and have doubled in the last 10 years is not data centers, it's Democrat policies. That's why I'll be able to bring them down. My plan is to cut Californians' electric bills in half.
We'll leave it there. Steve Hilton with us in San Francisco tonight, this afternoon, where he is. Steve, thank you. Appreciate it.
Great to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.